realized when you was, you know, sick in your sickness, God knew I needed unconditional love. So, he just made it to where I stayed with Nana all the time. And that's just what he did. My grandmother was a grown woman who had, at that age, because we all be hurting bitter. If you're black, you definitely hurting bitter. And she had worked through her pain or whatever it was, or she had just gotten so old in life, which I think all elders should be. She had gotten to a point where she just lived in wisdom and she just lived in love. And I was a little girl doing what I wanted to do in her house. She never, get off my table, don't be jumping on my couch, and go do this, and go put some clothes on, don't be running around here like this and like that. And she just let me be a little girl. And I didn't know that then, but her doing that, it showed me that I could be whatever I want to be. And when love is around you, you're not confined, you're free. You're not in bondage. You're not do this, do that, sit down and shut up, and little girl, you little fast thing, because that's another thing I would always say, little fast girl, and very damaging to a young lady, because I wasn't a fast girl. I was just a little kid who seen, women around me, adults that had their little purses, had their little lipstick, and their little tight jeans, and their little dresses, and that's what you see, that's what you want to be. But I wasn't a fast child. I guess I was what was I, Mama?
Inquisitive. But let me just jump in here for a minute so that I can kind of help the whole community.
Yeah.
A lot of the things that Gayla's talking about right now are historically just continuous in our lives, as in the African American community. I was told I was fast. I didn't even know what fast was, but I knew it made me feel ashamed inside.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of wounds and injuries that have been in our community for hundreds of years that we've all unfortunately passed on to our children that we didn't understand when we were taking that behavior on. We were taking those behaviors on. We didn't really know what they were. We didn't understand them. We passed them on to our children, and lots of damages that have gone on in our communities have been self-perpetuated. And so one of the things that I saw once I got myself together, I don't want to change her story, but I'm the mama, so I can easily say, well, it wasn't quite that bad. I mean, you no. But the truth of the matter is, her story is her story,
right,
and my story is my story.
Right.
We all have a story, and we all experience our stories the way we do. I've always encouraged my children to tell me the truth, no matter what it is, because I always felt like, especially for the girls, if they can be talked out of what they really think and believe, they can be taught and told anything. And a woman who can't stand up for herself and her position and her belief, I don't need to say how abusive the world is out there for women and men too. But children at large now, we're in a very abusive society. And, the influx of drugs in the African American community has damaged our communities in ways that the human enslavement of our people never did. And so there's a lot of things that our children are going through right now as a result of growing up without, I grew up with parents who had their same wounds from the historical issues from, living in the South and all that oppression. They had their wounds, they had their injuries, but they had a sense of pride and a sense of dignity that has been wiped out in the African American community as a result of what's going through with the drug problems. And we're not talking about that enough, and we're not focusing on it enough, because there's a lot of healing that needs to take place. And as my daughter's saying, children are born, but they require input of productivity, success, and love, and nurture. They require that. if they don't have that, they can't grow up and pick up a gun and take somebody's life and not feel anything. If they don't have that, they can't pick up a bag of dope and sell it to, a whole bunch of people in the neighborhoods, get hooked and don't feel anything. They can grow up and not be all that they can be. So, one of the things that I was so excited about Gayla and I doing this program together is because there's historical damages that are going on, and right now we're talking about the, and there's, what's the word I'm looking for? Generational damages that have gone on in our community. We represent generational healing right now. We represent that. I don't care how much dope is in your community. If you're using it, go get yourself some help. I say that all the time. Go get yourself some help. Do not let that dope destroy you, your children, and your grandchildren, because it will. They are lying to you when they say, oh, that's just, they got hooked because they didn't know how to do it right. Don't listen to none of that. Dope is not to be touched, quite frankly.